In this tutorial, I'm going to talk to you guys about the comparison operators in Python. We use comparison operators in situations where we want to compare a variable with a value. For example, if temperature is greater than 30, then we want to print it's a hot day. Otherwise, if it's less than 10, it's a cold day. Otherwise, it's neither hot nor cold. And by the way, here I'm talking about Celsius, not Fahrenheit. So, to build these rules into our program, we need to use comparison operators. Back to app.py. I've defined this temperature variable. Let's write an if statement. If temperature, now we want to check to see if this is greater than 30. So we use the greater than operator. If this is greater than 30, we want to print it's a hot day. Otherwise, let's just print it's not a hot day. Now, when we run this program, we're going to see the second message because 30 is not greater than 30. So our first condition evaluates to false. Let's verify that. So run, it's not a hot day. Okay. Now, if we change the temperature to 35 and run this again, we're going to see a different message. It's a hot day. So this is where we use comparison operators. Now, what we have here, as you know, is an expression because it's a piece of code that produces a value. So more accurately, this is a Boolean expression. So this is the greater than operator. We also have greater than or equal to. We have less than or equal to. Here's the equality operator. So if the temperature equals to 30, then we can say it's a hot day. Note that this is different from the assignment operator that has only one equal sign. You can see if we use one equal sign here, we immediately get this red underline because this is simply an assignment statement. We're changing the value of the temperature. We're setting the value of the temperature variable to 30. We are not comparing it with something else. So we don't have a Boolean expression. We are not producing a Boolean value. Okay? So our equality operator has two equal signs. And finally, we have not equal, which is an exclamation followed by an equal sign. Now, here's an exercise for you. You've probably seen that when you fill out a form online, sometimes the input fields have validation messages. For example, let's say we have an input field for the user to enter their name. Now, if the name is less than 3 characters long, we want to display a validation error like name must be at least 3 characters. Otherwise, if the name is more than 50 characters long, then we want to display a different validation error like name can be a maximum of 50 characters. Otherwise, if the name is between 3 and 50 characters, then we just want to tell the user that name looks good. So go ahead and write a program to implement these rules. All right, let's define a variable called name and set it to, let's say, J. So we're assuming this is what the user types into an input field. Now we want to get the number of characters in this string. So we use the len function, right? Len of name. When we print this, we get 1, right? You have seen this before. Now here we want to use an if statement. So if len of name is less than 3, then we want to print name must be at least 3 characters. Now here we need a second condition to check the upper limit. So L if len of name is greater than 50, then we want to print a different message. Name must be a maximum of 50 characters. Okay? And otherwise, so else, if none of these conditions is true, that means the name looks good. So print name looks good. Let's run our program. So in this case, we get this message because our name is too short. Now, if you go back here and type something really, really long, and then run our program, we're going to see a different message. Name must be a maximum of 50 characters. And finally, if we type a proper name here, like John Smith, and run our program,